Hey everyone, my name is Ilnur Miftahov. I'm an educational consultant, and in this video I'm going to show you one more school in Russia. So this time we are in Moscow, and this at the back is a private school which is called Heritage School. It's an international school. I think you will love it. Let's enjoy this video. Now, as you can see, there are these, safety borders here because, all these safety issues are really important. So yeah, this is the entrance to the school, and we are now going to enter. So meet Matthew
Ashton.
Matthew Ashton. And Matthew, you are?
I'm head of school here at Taconic campus of Heritage International School.
Yeah. So Matthew, I'll be now asking you some questions about this school, right?
Go
and
ahead.
we will be walking around, showing everything to our viewers so that they will get to know with your school,
Sounds
right?
good.
Basic information about the school. How many students you have? How many maybe teachers you have? Private, state school?
Yeah,
these
sure.
kind of things, yeah?
Yeah, okay, so we've got 14 classes,
Yeah.
so that's 14 international teachers. We've also got subject specialists, we've got 8 of those, learning assistants in every classroom, we have Russian teachers, just over 200 pupils now,
Yeah.
between the ages of 2 and 14. 18 pupils per class.
Yeah.
So when the place is full, it's really busy, really vibrant, really loud and noisy in the best way.
Here we have to tell that today is Sunday and there are going to be no students today here, but yeah.
There's some still
there
very
are some.
dedicated, they come in on Sundays.
Okay, okay.
When a pupil arrives at school, the first place they'll come is the cloak room.
Yeah.
Each kid has their own locker,
Yeah.
and it's their space basically. They can put their shoes, change, put their coats here, they keep their PE kits in here as well.
Yeah. So this is what?
This is our secondary department, so pupils from year 7 upwards, this is their home.
Okay,
So-
let's go see.
Please welcome.
This is like a typical classroom of yours?
Yeah, this is typical secondary classroom, and
Yeah.
some of our primary classrooms have a similar setup. No child has their own table at our school,
Yeah.
or their own chair. They come in, they sit where the teacher asks them to sit, and the tables can be moved as you need them. But the kids get used to sitting in a way and in a position that's appropriate to that lesson and that style of learning for that day. And they might move, they might not. So
Yeah.
it's a very flexible approach to teaching.
Yeah.
I rather like it, to be fair.
So, dear Matthew, can you please tell us about the curriculum here? So, I was told that you have 2 curriculums here, right? The Russian one and the English one?
Yeah.
The British one?
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
We try to think of it as one curriculum
Yeah.
that's made up of 2 elements,
Yeah.
the Cambridge programme and the Russian programme.
Yeah.
And we try not to tell our children that there's this curriculum and that curriculum. We want them to see the entire set of learning as the heritage curriculum.
Yeah.
The international side is the Cambridge International Curriculum, and that's what the books that you've seen on the shelves just there are.
Yeah, these ones,
They're
right?
endorsed by Cambridge and they cover that programme. It's mirrored on the UK national curriculum. For the Russian side, everything that a child would study in a Russian state school, they study here.
I see.
Because of the nature of the timetable, there's a lot in it. Some of those lessons are on Saturdays for our secondary pupils. Maths is pretty much the same, so...
Yeah. So, are all these desks adjustable in terms of height?
Yeah, they're all basically the same furniture across
Yeah.
the school, but we adjust it to the height of the typical pupil.
Yeah.
The furniture is specifically designed for classrooms.
What about Mandarin language? Chinese, right?
Yeah, we have a Chinese teacher here. He's actually a Russian fellow called Vladislav who studied and worked in China for over 10 years. And he speaks Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, to the standard of a native speaker.
Wow.
It's 2 lessons per week in all our classes from year 1 up to year 9. Here we are, we're in our laboratory right now. So
Oh, wow. This one is really interesting. Yeah.
every lesson for science in secondary, including some of primary as well, will take place in the lab. And Oliver's goal is to get at least 50% of science lessons to be practical in nature.
Oh, wow.
Because Cambridge programme embodies this idea that we don't learn science from a book. We learn science by means of our senses using experimental techniques.
Yeah.
So therefore we must become critical experimenters if we're going to be successful scientists. This is the prep room. So in this room here, it's where Oliver prepares any chemical apparatus that you might be using in a given lesson. It's kept locked because in here we have some quite harmful chemicals.
So right now we're gonna see what?
So we're in the primary department at the moment.
Yeah.
The classroom we're just going to come to is our Year 4 classroom. So these are children who are 8 and 9 years old, and our teacher for Year 4, Miss Mann, is in the classroom right now.
Okay,
So
let's go see her.
say hello.
Yeah.
This is Yvonne.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Miss Mann, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. My name is Ilnar. Can you please tell us something about your class?
Would you like to see our spaghetti and marshmallow pyramids?
Yeah, I'd love to.
See? It is a fun classroom.
Wow.
So these are our spaghetti and... Oh no, we started with spaghetti and then the spaghetti didn't work, so then we changed to toothpicks. So now it's toothpicks and marshmallows. Well, we were supposed to be making an Egyptian pyramid, but it kind of is a bit more creative, I think, than that.
Can you please describe like the overall approach? What do you do with the kids here?
I think sort of try to have fun first of all, sort of tailor it to the kids. We've got a lot of sort of variety with our children, different abilities, different sort of language abilities. So just trying to sort of individualize it sort of as much as we can and have fun, really.
Yeah. What do the kids like most about, being here?
Wow. They like the fun lessons. They like sort of things like this that aren't just sort of working in a book. They like things like, we made Egyptian bread the other day and they really, really liked making Egyptian bread. Basically anything they get to eat, they like. But they like the sports, they like the music, they like all the specialist lessons that they have because we have such a huge number of different specialist lessons that they go to.
Yeah.
So I think they like the variety.
As international teachers, as international educators, how do you feel, working here in Moscow? Yeah, this is a very personal one.
I love it. I don't know about you, but I love it. I feel so at home here. I love the city. I love being somewhere that's sort of so cosmopolitan and it's European and it's interesting and it's got, the good balance of the history and the modern and I love it.
I think, for me, Russia and England have something very, very significant in common in that they're both old countries that have built a culture on so many different influences, and because of that, everything is just fascinating and unique and oftentimes quite confusing and unusual, and you never fail to be surprised working in Russia. And the same with the children. There are countries in the world where you teach a class of children and they're almost all the same. That is absolutely not true in Russia. Each of our children is so individual, and we actually pride ourselves on making them a little bit more individual while they're with us.
We're going to be mummifying tomatoes, which I just can't wait. I'm so excited.
Mummifying tomatoes.
You scrape out the tomato and you imagine that that's the body and you're scraping out the internal organs, and then you pack in the baking soda and salt. And then you come back in a week or two and you've got a mummified tomato.
I'm committed to that version. I've got to see this.
It's going to be great.
Do we eat them afterwards?
I wouldn't recommend doing that.
Probably could, but it might not.
Call it a delicacy.
You got so many funny things here, It's just so interesting to go dive in it.
You kind of want to be like,
I
want to explore, want to see this.
So if you're teaching in the primary phase of Heritage International School, this is the view that you're getting. This is it. Yeah, so I was also wondering about the values, right? Because I've heard that Cambridge International Schools are focusing on values a lot, right? So what do you do about these?
What you don't do is sit down. You must sit down in your chair during my lessons. You must put the date there and the title there. Don't do that. That is the wrong thing to do. What you do is, instead, you refer to values. That you're doing now is not being respectful. What does respectful mean? You ask other children what that means, and that way the child will not associate a bad behaviour with the wrong thing. They'll learn a value. I should stop doing this because it is not respectful. There's no way of training it. You can't say to a class today we're going to learn how to be responsible. You can only do it by example as they come up and by modelling it yourself. Every one of our teachers displays the correct values as we do as functional adults. But what we do is we model it openly and vocally. The responsible thing that I would do here is, this person's done something very respectful, and that's how we teach it here. by getting children to see examples of respect as often as we can see it and reinforce it, so that over time they develop an understanding, that's respect, that's what respect is, and I want to be respectful because that is what we do here. Should we go to the library next?
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
I like libraries. We're now going to the library.
So here we are, the Taconic campus library. It's a very flexible space. It's not a room full of books that is simply used as a reading space. It's used for so many different things. Right now it's set up for a conference that has taken place here today.
Yeah.
In our optional homework, we always ask the children to either review a book that they've got or to read it to their parent, say.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And we encourage kids to be quite critical of their books. I know that in schools that I've worked at in the past, there is a kind of enforced positivity about reading. You know, this is a book, therefore it must be good. No, we encourage children to take a book, read it, give it a chance. If they don't like it, then swap it for something else. We need to develop a taste and a flavour for what a child likes. So if a teacher finds a child who doesn't like to read, we think of that as, well, the child hasn't found the right book yet. There's one purple chair in here. Our star of the week every week is chosen for exhibiting a particular value. So you are star of the week because you have done this, which is a great example of respect. And the star of the week gets to sit on the purple chair for the entire week.
So nice.
It's a serious privilege. You see the children sit up a bit more when they're in the purple
Does it actually motivate the kids?
It does. It's strange. These little things do serve to motivate. It's recognition.
Yeah.
Because what we have found, and there's plenty of research that backs it up, that praise from a teacher is one thing.
Yeah.
But the approval of one's peers is a far bigger motivator. So all children who have art lessons from reception all the way up to year 9 come to this room for their art lessons rather than doing art in their classrooms. It's a different setup in here. Rather than individual tables, we have these huge tables that can be put together to make an even larger set, so the whole class can sit around one table. What our art teacher tries to do is move away from the old-fashioned model of, this is the kind of art that we want, this is how to make it, now make one like this, and you end up with 18 pieces of art that all look the same.
Yeah.
Our art teacher teaches techniques, but then giving structure to how to make the art itself, we don't do that because it crushes the creativity of the pupils. Our displays, we try to get as much pupils' work on the wall as we can.
Yeah.
Displays, I know that in a lot of schools you see immaculate displays that go up at the beginning of the year and they remain that way throughout the year. Ours change constantly, and whatever the most recent and relevant pupils' work is will go up on the wall. And often our pupils will be asked, why is your work up on the wall? What is it that's made your work good enough to go on the wall? And they're encouraged to understand that and to be able to articulate it to their peers. It's good because, and then that's again how we develop feedback in that way.
So we are now going into the assembly hall, right?
Come in. So this is a multifunction room. It's called the assembly hall after one event that takes place every week, our assembly.
Yeah.
We have primary assembly and secondary assembly. Every pupil in primary will come in here, so 90 pupils. We sit facing the stage. One class is responsible for leading the assembly. That class will come to the front, and there'll be a particular value they have to teach the rest of the pupils about, using examples, perhaps songs, perhaps a piece of theatre that they've made during the week. And in this assembly, we always hand out our certificates and rewards. So Star of the Week, homework stars for pupils that have done homework independently, particularly optional homework, and any head of school awards, they get them rewarded in front of the entire assembly of pupils. And also we announce which house has received the most points that week as well. So this room we don't only use for assembly, we also use for PE lessons as well as numerous clubs that take place in here. We've got gymnastics clubs, tennis club takes place in here. From time to time as well we have music concerts in here.
You have your own playground here, all this territory is yours.
The whole place belongs to the school and it's entirely enclosed, full-time security, so pupils are safe here.
This is the room that everyone likes seeing. This is the dining room, is it?
Dining room, yes.
Yeah, dining room. Come on, let's go see it.
Five visits here every day.
Okay.
There's breakfast, lunch and dinner, which are large meals, and 2 snacks, in between those,
Yeah.
in the mid-morning and mid-afternoon.
Yeah, this is a very important room for the kids.
Crucial,
right?
yeah.
Crucial.
Exactly. So kids come in, they wash their hands, and they come up and take their selections. For some sittings, it'll be served up on the tables ready for them. But in all cases, salad, soup, and the main courses, there's a choice.
Yeah.
And the menus are printed and put on the mirror over there, so the kids can see in advance, oh, what's going to be on the menu on Thursday? Look, let's have a look what it's going to be. And that choice is really important. And we encourage kids to make sure that they do get a choice. If there's nothing left, they can go up and ask, excuse me, have you got a different soup? Yes, we do. There you go. Yeah, crucially, our dining room is not a quiet place during meal times.
Yeah,
we
I can
encourage
imagine.
children not to eat in silence. It's a social gathering, it's a social event, and again, it's a learning activity. So, this is our pre-nursery classroom. The children in here are 2 and 3 years old. They're our youngest pupils. It's very much unlike what you might have seen in the rest of the school. The pupils in here don't have a program because, well, anybody that has a 2-year-old will know that you cannot program a 2-year-old's day. Whatever they happen to need to do at that moment in time is what they will do. Because that's how 2-year-olds learn. Teachers in early years, they have to set up the environment so that the children will choose according to what the teacher wants them to choose. So when we're developing sensory skills and so on, we need to lay out the right kind of toys in the right kind of places, and when the children are ready, they'll be brought together into teacher-led activities. When they're not ready for that, they'll continue to lead activities on their own, with adult involvement, of course.
Do the kids sleep here during the day?
They do. You've got our folding beds. These are from Finland, and they're designed to be as form-fitting to the environment as possible.
This is pure magic.
I love them. They're amazing. Each pupil has their own bedding and their own cuddly toy and all the various things that they need in order to be able to sleep comfortably.
So you can see how cool and cozy these rooms are. So nice and colorful, right? Now, as you can see, every single school that we visit and show to you is very unique, interesting. This one is obviously a private school, so it's quite, fancy and nice. Yeah. Where are we going to go next?
Next is this classroom just here, nursery.
Nursery. Yay!
So
Nursery is always fun.
Children aged 3 and 4 in here.
3 and 4.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The majority of these children were in our pre-nursery class last year, so this is one of our more well-established classes.
So they already speak English, do they?
Pretty much, yeah. Or they've at least started speaking English in parallel with Russian.
Yeah.
On one day they're going to work in different stations. If one of them isn't particularly interesting to the pupils, she'll get rid of it, replace it with something more interesting. But anything involving dinosaurs in here seems to be incredibly popular.
Yeah, why, right? Why do they have dinosaurs?
Nobody knows. I think it's same in every classroom. We have the carpet area and our screen here. Kids at this age generally don't tend to do any formalised whole class learning.
Yeah.
But from time to time, Beverly organises circle time on this carpet here.
Yeah.
This classroom has an attached bedroom, so the pupils in here 2.5 hours a day, just like in pre-nursery. But they've got their own dedicated room for this. It's darkened, and
Oh wow.
these are the beds that just like we had in pre-nursery.
Yeah, the magic ones.
Yeah.
What's the day routine for the kids?
It depends on age, but every kid starts at 8:50, and for children in year 1 and upwards, the lessons are 40 minutes in length, and they have 7 lessons a day. Obviously, there's a lot of meal times and break times within that. Each child has at least 1 hour of outside play every day, and the children here in nursery, reception, and pre-nursery have upwards of 2 hours of sleep each day as well.
Yep.
But from year 1 upwards, the timetable is quite heavy. 35 lessons a week in year 1 and 2, 40 lessons a week in primary. This one is particularly popular with the kids in here because it's real. They're not plastic nuts and bolts; they're real nuts and bolts, and it's something that I remember as a child myself. Playing with something real. It's made of metal.
Yeah. Wow, this is the castle.
Yeah, this started last year actually as a rocket. It was Design Technology Week.
What about the well-being? I mean, how do you make sure that the kids are okay with it?
Well, if it was designed so that those 7 lessons were just run in order with no breaks in between, we could understand perhaps the children would burn out quite quickly. It's structured so that, for example, typical year 1, they'll come in, have 2 lessons, and then it's a break for snack. They go down to the dining room, have a bite to eat. Bear in mind they've had breakfast before they arrive as well. They come back to class, they have their next 2 lessons, and then it's a break for lunch. Then they go for outside play. So
it doesn't feel that, burdening, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all broken up into bite-sized chunks.
Okay. So as you can see, even though it's Sunday today, we have some students here, right?
Yeah.
So you want to show us the science lab, right?
Yeah.
So what do you usually do here?
We do experiments, we write stuff,
Yeah.
like our notes.
Like what kind of experiments do you usually have here?
First day, Dr. Oliver, our science teacher, showed us a trick where he burns his arm.
Oh.
It doesn't actually burn, but it's kind of a trick.
Maybe you could tell us something about the school itself. What do you like most about being a student here?
That teachers are actually responsible about the students, and they give knowledge and they make it in an excellent way.
Like how, for example?
Like, for example, if you do something wrong, they say like, "Oh, you're wrong. Maybe I will help you to make this right."
Okay. Do you actually learn Chinese language here?
Yes, we do.
Can you actually speak Chinese?
你好, we do sports.
Yeah.
Like there's a pitch, and there's a place for volleyball. We play volleyball or football.
Yeah.
So you push the button and the water comes out. So you do like this,
Yeah.
and you wash your eyes.
Do you have all your lessons in English or?
Yes. Well, like sometimes we have 2 or 3 lessons of Russian.
Yeah.
So to mix it up,
Yeah.
and sometimes Chinese. Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. This is the room where you usually study, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please
here
tell
we
us?
have our notebooks,
Yeah.
our course books.
Yeah.
It's like the year 8/math classroom.
Okay. So every single student is given an iPad to work on, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And a charger.
Oh yeah, obviously, and the charger.
If we work in different groups, we sometimes separate it,
Yeah.
and then we put it all back.
Yeah. So you don't fall down when you're using them, do you?
No, we just.
Wow. I see that there are lots of posters, right, in your school. So you as a student, do you actually read them?
Yes.
So
Because when
yeah.
you go upstairs, you go like this. Always like, wow, that's a big text. Let me read it. Why? Ask why. And like every time you come, like, oh wow, that's a new one.
I have a very important question to ask. Do you run here in the corridors?
Sometimes. if you're late for the lesson.
Oh, only when you're late for the lesson.
Yes.
So you don't actually run at the corridors.
Yeah. You
Oh, come on, students usually do that.
go fast.
Oh, you just walk fast, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Cool. Thanks. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, what's your vision for the kids' future here? What skills or maybe competencies you want them to develop while being?
Well, we have a vision.
Yeah.
And we have our mission. Our vision is quite simple. It's to make a difference through education.
Yeah.
We phrase it in our mission statement as we provide the knowledge, skills, and values for the leaders of tomorrow to make the world a better place.
Knowledge, skills, and values.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holistic again.
Yeah. We cannot separate them out. The knowledge is one thing, the skills are another thing, and the values are another. And they don't exist in isolation. I mean, gone are the days when you could learn to be a doctor, but with no people skills and no compassion and still succeed. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Matthew, thank you for the video. Thank you for these tours.
Пожалуйста.
Пожалуйста, yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I hope that our viewers will like this video.
I hope so too.
Yeah. If they want to come here, visit your school.
Of course, yeah. Call up.
Yeah.
And we'll happily arrange a school tour for anyone that wants to come and visit.
Yeah, thank you again.
Thank you.
So this was Heritage International School. I hope you liked this video. Give your thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next videos. Goodbye.